There's an old flame burning here in the big country of West Texas on this Valentine's Day. A couple of teams in a rivalry that go back 100 years. Tarleton State and Abilene Christian meeting at Moody Coliseum. WAC basketball on ESPN+. Hi, everyone. Grant Boone along with a sweetheart of a guy. Ron Holmes, the coach. These two teams, each coming off snapping a 7-game losing streak in their most recent game. ACU did it Thursday night here. Tarleton State did it last week at Southern Utah. Now they want to add on to that streak and make it a winning streak.
Yeah, I think both teams are trying to start a new streak, trying to go the opposite direction before the tournament.
Yeah, we got a couple of weeks until WAC Vegas, and today is going to be a big one. It's going to be the first of 2 games between these two teams over the next 3 days. They're going to meet in Stephenville on Monday night, the makeup of a postponed game because of snow a few weeks ago. Let's take a look at a couple of impact players, beginning with Tarleton State, number 2, Freddie Hicks.
Freddie Hicks, you should have a friend like Freddie Hicks. A business should have an employee like Freddie Hicks. He is the most loyal and steady, rock-steady player that Tarleton's had. 100th game starting for those guys. A really good guy.
6th-year senior, and they're going to need him as they are banged up today. We'll tell you about that in just a sec. But for Abilene Christian, we're going to keep our eyes on the junior, Yanni Rivera.
Yanni Rivera is the most underrated, under-the-radar player ACU has. He's coming back from some injuries. He had a big game Thursday night against UTA.
Missed a month because of a knee injury at the end of non-conference play, and kind of slow to get back into his early season form, but 3 big 3-pointers and 2 huge free throws at the end of the game to beat UT Arlington on Thursday night. Take a look at the conference standings. How about California Baptist? Remember when they were 0-3?
Yeah.
Neither does anyone else. They won 9 in a row. Utah Valley has the day off. Abilene Christian and Tarleton State with a chance today with a win to move up to 5th place. Let's meet the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Madison O'Shields.
Hey Grant, the Wildcats snapped their 7-game losing streak on Thursday night with a thrilling win over UT Arlington. Head coach Brett Taylor praised his team afterwards, saying, quote, "This team has been resilient. They don't make excuses, and they've continued to fight. This is a spot ACU knows all too well." Despite slow starts in recent years, the Wildcats have consistently caught fire late in competition. Grant, back to you.
Madison, thank you. We're underway. Braden Hubbard, leading scorer for ACU, pulls up for 2, and a good start for the Wildcats.
A lot of high screen and roll. Cade Horniker's, he's fit into that role just fine as a 7-footer. He's a good distributor.
Nate Melson, Wesley Ford, and Grant Jeffries, the 3 officials tonight or this afternoon here. No Dior Johnson, no Cam McDowell, but you got Andy Sigaskar. And he answers the 2 from Braden Hubbard. They're the starting lineups brought to you by LMB Real Estate. Here is Rivera, Rich Smith, coming off the ball this possession. The big 7-footer, Cade Horniker. Sebo Newton finds Hubbard, and a lob to Horniker, and you got 2 of the top 6 teams in the nation enforcing turnovers. Tarleton gets one early.
Sigaskar is he's so athletic. You're going to have to bounce past that into the post.
4 key players missing for Tarleton State today. No Dior Johnson, no Cam McDowell, no Chris Mpaka, low post threat, and no Leroy Kelly, the super freshman. But they do have Jordan Mazzell. O'Cypher Owens with a shot fake. And it was Horniker just enough of a defense, and it's going to be Abilene Christian ball. Take another look here.
Well, hey, that's just a missed layup. I mean, you're going to have to take contact in the WAC. You have to finish strong. They're going to beat you on the way in. If they don't beat you on the way in, they'll get you when they get there.
Here is Smith, the senior from the Bronx, New York. A couple of years at Division II St. Thomas Aquinas, 2nd year at Abilene Christian. Hubbard. Shot blocked by Mazzell from behind. And it's going to be ACU ball. You know, substitution, Joseph Van Zandt in for ACU.
This one thing about most basketball teams run the same offense. They're trying to screen off and get the man on the block, their best player on the block.
Newton got 4 seconds on the shot clock, and welcome to the game, Joseph Van Zandt.
Good back screen.
The feed from Rich Smith, who leads the conference in assists. He gets one there. And the fifth-year senior Van Zandt from Midland, Texas, a couple of hours away, puts Abilene Christian back on top.
Good defense. Both teams are really strong on the defensive end.
Now Tarleton State has held its last two opponents under 35% shooting. Osai for Owens for three. And Sebo Newton, the offside rebound. Just underway from Abilene. And a lost ball and another takeaway for Tarleton State, their second. Mizell all the way to the hole and can't get it to go. Couple of chances at the rim for Tarleton State that go begging. Smith to the hole himself, gets hacked by Osai for Owens into the student section, and free throws coming for the senior.
You know, we're talking about fast break transition. Tarleton's averaging 15 points a game.
Fast break. Top 20 in the nation.
Yeah. Now, what's considerably down statistically for Tarleton today would be the fact that they averaged 41 points with their substitutes. But injuries.
Right. And so no, as we said, no Dior Johnson, no Cam McDowell, two of the top three scorers in the WAC. And Rich Smith is really struggling mentally with the free throw shooting. He had really improved it in conference play last year and the first part of this year. But, well, he's got too good of a stroke to be missing that many, is what the coaches will tell you.
Well, he's too tough in the head between the ears to be missing.
And another 0 for 2 trip, and he's shaking his head. He can't believe it. It was free throws made at the end of the game that clinched the victory for Abilene Christian Thursday night. Freddie Hicks is in the game, the player to watch. Game number 100, as you said, in a Tarleton State uniform. He'll go to work on Mashai Hill, and he'll draw a foul. We're going to say Wesley Ford says no shooting foul. Brett Tanner, 5th season as the ACU head coach. 8 years as the associate head coach to Joe Golding, the co-architect of that team that went to 2 straight NCAA tournaments and beat Texas in 2021. Sigaskar under the basket for Mizell, who shook free and ties the game.
You know, I think Tanner and Coach Sip, they're like Forrest Gump. They never know what they're going to get when the game starts, like a box of chocolate on Valentine's Day. But
yeah,
they want a quicker start. They want a more stable and steady start than what they've been getting.
3 turnovers for ACU as Rich Smith and Mashai Hill couldn't connect. Tied 4 minutes in. This is DJ Dormu, who's in at the point, sophomore from DC. Went to Connor State in Oklahoma, a JUCO, same one that Braden Hubbard played for a couple of seasons for ACU. Now the 2 Connor State alums guarding each other. Dormu pulls up, and Rich Smith is ACU's leading rebounder at the point guard spot in conference play. Under the basket for Hill, a deflection. Got to get out of the lane at some point. And another takeaway, the 4th of the game, 4th turnover for ACU. This is Cade Douglas under the basket for Sigaskar, and a push from Van Zandt. And a media timeout. Tarleton State doing what they do best, taking the ball away. We're tied at 4 in Abilene. Back here in Abilene, ACU and Tarleton State. They met earlier this season. ACU won it. Coach, let's look at the key to the game. Does this look similar? So you got 2 of the top 2 teams, 2 of the top 6 in the nation in turning you over, and 2 of the teams that are lowest in the nation in hanging on to the ball.
Yeah, I'm seeing double.
Yeah, yeah, and right now it's...
But it's true. That's what
that's
they do best.
Yeah, and that's at the moment in favor of Tarleton State. They've got 4 takeaways, and ACU has yet to turn over Tarleton State. And they just did it right on cue. ACU forces the takeaway. Zy Wright is in the game. There's Smith, point guard for ACU. They met on January the 8th, the game that ACU never trailed in Stephenville, where they'll play again on Monday night. They won it 84-80 despite 33 from Dior Johnson, who's missing his 5th straight game. No telling when he'll come back. Hubbard an early in the shot clock 3. Zy Wright the rebound, denied on the stick back by Mazzell, who's got 2 blocks at 6'1". And you got still this 4-4 game. Sigisgaard did not play at all last year with a foot injury. He's really come along here, getting his 3rd straight start, close to a 5-second call. And there it is.
Yeah.
2 straight turnovers for Tarleton.
Yeah, ACU's over there counting 5. I think they got to 6 or 7. I think Coach Tanner thought it was Mountain time instead of Central.
You saw Smith working hard to deny the ball going to Cade Douglas.
Oh, that's just a really good defensive drill. And I know both teams work on that every day. But you never know when you're going to get in that situation, and it paid off.
Glenn Cyprian, you see the acting head coach for Billy Gillespie at the top of your screen. Rich Smith, too strong with the left hand. And here comes Tarleton State. Quick 3 from Douglas. Yes, Cade Douglas. The junior from Lancaster played for his dad, Farron, at Lancaster High School in the DFW area. Gives Tarleton a 7-4 lead. 2 blocks already for Tarleton State. Hubbard, shot fake, kick out. Van Zant to tie the game. Joseph Van Zant. He's the defensive specialist who sprinkled in a few extra points this year.
Yeah, that's a 3 you don't expect when you're doing a game report or scout report if you're Tarleton.
He is shooting at a high percentage. He just doesn't shoot it very much from downtown, and that's a big one to tie the game, and a near takeaway from Smith. Mazzell secures it. Freddie Hicks doesn't settle for the 3. What is that, an offensive foul?
I didn't see that.
So teams that don't hang on to the ball particularly well, 2 teams that take it away from you, and 2 teams that foul the other team a lot. I hope you don't have Valentine's dinner plans. We could be here a while. Here's the 3 from Van Zant. 7 apiece. Brett Tanner and Glenn Cyprian, defense first head coaches. And they're SIP, as they call him up there. Billy Gillespie hasn't coached in a month or so. And don't know when he'll come back, battling health issues. Seabo Newton for 3. Back rim and Van Zant. The rebound knocked out of his hands. And here comes Tarleton in transition. No look to Kaya Isaac, who traveled, or double dribbled.
Double dribble, yeah. Good call. It was one or the other, wasn't it?
Isaac with some big free throws to ice the game last Saturday, and it was Zy Wright coming in to just give Isaac one more thing to think about. The New Zealander played amateur ball the last few years.
Okay, now we have a really small lineup for Tarleton, so ACU goes big with Horniker at 7 foot. Hicks will be guarding him at 6'5".
And let's see if ACU tries to exploit. They do. Great catch by you. Good catch by Horniker. And ACU is back on top at 9-7.
They couldn't get Tarleton couldn't get the sub in fast enough.
And they got Sigisgaard coming back in. Another takeaway for ACU. Zy Wright back to Hubbard. No, but a foul, and Hubbard will go to the line for 2.
It's good hustle play by both. They're getting back. There's a lot of busyness going on right now. There's a lot of we're not being able to finish at the basket, and it's so physical to start the game.
Well, and Brett Tanner and Glenn Cyprian, there you see Glenn, will both tell you this is a toughness game.
Yeah, it is.
There's the man they call Sip, the son of coaches, James and Janice down in New Orleans. They were basketball coaches in the New Orleans area. He went to Jesuit High School, Sip did. And the son of coaches became a coach himself.
If you look at the people that he's worked for, Eddie Sutton, Chris Beard, Billy Gillespie, it's defense first with this guy.
And 2 free throws for Hubbard. ACU is pushed back in front. A 7-0 run for the Wildcats. As Tarleton has begun to turn it over, ACU has turned it up. Dormu and Mazzell. This is not no good by Damian Porter. And an offensive rebound for Tarleton State. Porter, freshman from Chicago.
If you're watching off the ball, it's no wonder that there's not you can't get downhill in Abilene today. You're getting mugged along the way.
A couple of free throws here for Porter. Something that Glenn Cyprian told me yesterday is with Dior Johnson, second leading scorer in the nation behind only the terrific freshman A.J. DeBonza, with him out, he said, all of our guys are more active. He said, I think unintentionally they got sucked into watching the great scorer, Dior, their teammate.
Right.
And now they're a little more active. He said, I think it's made us a little better, even though we'd love to have him back. You see that, don't you, when a great player sometimes leaves a team?
I used to think that as a coach that we would circle the wagons. If your bench gets smaller, your team gets better.
Horniker turns it over, and Dormu to the rim. Horniker gave it away, and Dormu took it all the way to make it 11-10. Here's Zy Wright, hit a big shot the other night. That one way off the mark, but it's an offensive rebound. Vinzant working his way into the paint. Horniker can make it three. And struggling to hang on to it now for Horniker. Wow. That's his third turnover already.
And they are alert. They'll pick your pocket.
11-10, 7 turnovers for ACU, 5 for Tarleton State. Dormu around the hedge. Hicks, this is not, oh, that's a travel.
Good call.
Goodness gracious, good call. You don't usually get style points in ACU versus Tarleton. It's just about tough love on Valentine's Day. And Horniker, that time, throws it down.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road. From up in Amarillo down to San Antonio. No matter where I travel, one thing remains the same. Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State. Ford is the best in Texas.
Of all the places in the world, legends live right here in Abilene, Texas. At Wesley Court, our seniors shaped this community we're proud to call home. At Abilene Christian University, the next generation carries those values forward. Together, Wesley Court and ACU show the world what Abilene is made of: small town spirit, big hearts, and a legacy that lasts. Because legends live here.
Hey guys, on February 7th, the Tarleton State Texans defeated the Southern Utah Thunderbirds 62-59. Afterward, they made sure to celebrate it on social media after snapping that streak. Coach Cyprian came into the locker room dancing in honor of the big win. Then, Thursday night, the Abilene Christian Wildcats followed suit with the win over the UT Arlington Mavericks. They were feeling it too. Coach Tanner and his team had their own celebratory moment, posting a video on Instagram with the caption, "On our way up." Both locker rooms are riding a little confidence right now. The question is, which team can turn one win into two and really get something started? Grant, back to you.
All right, Madison, thanks. Coach, you know what that's like. You didn't have a lot of 7-game losing streaks, but just the weight, you could just see it, the weight coming off their shoulders.
Oh, it's uplifting.
Yeah.
Literally uplifting.
And here's Cyprian looking on. Short-handed today, and yet his team at the moment down just one. Missing 2 of the top 3 scorers in the WAC, Dior Johnson and Cam McDowell, and neither figuring to come back anytime soon as Van Zandt to the basket. Tough finish. And Van Zandt off the bench has 7.
That's how you finish in the WAC right there. You expect to take contact, finish strong.
See the sleeve on the right shoulder of Joseph Van Zandt, a chronic problem. He played at Liberty for 3 years. Sigascar with a head of steam and throwing it down.
He should have been mugged on the way because that was downhill. Boy, that was with some authority.
Little French dip under the basket and through the hands of Mashai Hill, who's been the bugaboo for Mashai in 3 years. Another look. The coach, Glenn Cyprien from New Orleans, Andy Sigascar from the original Orléans, France. And New liked old on that one. 13-12, ACU with 8 turnovers. Some of these 14 combined turnovers, Coach, feel forced and some feel unforced, like we say in tennis.
Well, you need to protect the ball and get your elbows out and give the ball eyes.
Dormu with the lob, and it's another takeaway.
Maybe an extra dribble instead of a pass.
Rivera for 3. No, and ACU now 5 of 12 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3. Mizell looks to push, gathers himself. You got a team at Tarleton State that's not going to take a lot of threes. They are second in the nation in fewest threes taken and made. Right now, just hanging on to the ball is a problem. And there's a foul against ACU. They're going to get Braden Hubbard.
You know what's amazing about Tarleton is the fact that if they score 80, they win. They don't shoot a lot of threes. You wonder, how do they get to 80? Turnovers, run-outs.
Boy, a lot of contact, and Sigascar had it knocked out of his hands, but it's off of Hubbard, so it'll remain Tarleton State ball.
How many 97s do you see in basketball jerseys?
Yeah, not many. Make a good defensive end.
I don't know of a 97.
Just a couple of years ago, remember they added, they let you use those 6 through 9 numerals on the jersey,
right,
like the NBA's been doing for years. Gets a little confusing when you're calling fouls. Here's a slap and a ball out of bounds off of Tarleton State. It began with Smith.
Oh yeah, the flipping from behind. That's why I'm saying you have to protect the ball. Maybe an extra pass instead of an extra dribble, or maybe an extra dribble instead of an extra pass. Whatever it would take, they will pick your pocket in this game.
Almost as many turnovers as points in this game so far. 8 apiece at the moment. We told you these two teams force as many as anybody in the country. Hubbard traveled. Wow. It's a weird game. That's not Tarleton State there. Is it?
Well, I think it's a little bit of that.
Okay.
There's some hesitation as to whether or not I want to put the ball on the floor because of what's happening when I do put the ball on the floor. They're going to have to figure out, both teams are going to have to figure out what works best. That's why I was saying maybe an extra dribble or maybe an extra pass.
Dormu around the screen, straight on Osai for Owens, way off the mark, and rebound from Braden Hubbard, wants to push. Hubbard to the basket, a lot of contact, gets hit hard, hit his head on the baseline, and you can see the pain he's in.
Good contest. That's a clean effort trying to block it.
That's ACU Tarleton right there.
Oh yeah, what tough love, as you said.
Owens brings the arm down. That's a 100 out of 100 call for the officials.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Braden Hubbard knew that he was going to get that when he went in.
Yeah. Hubbard, second year at ACU, preseason all-WAC. He's been through some tragedy off the court in the last month with the loss of a loved one, a dear family member to him. And Brett Tanner, I think a little frustrated with that, the severity of that foul. It was just called a common foul. And Hubbard to the line where he's 2 of 2 today. Freddie Hicks back in the game.
Free throws have been abysmal for the Wildcats.
Dead last in the conference, and in fact, Tarleton's #1 in the league. But Tarleton State gets the guys who are their best free throw shooters to the line the most.
They do. That's probably why they don't shoot so many threes.
All right, so 2 for 2 at the line for Hubbard. And ACU which trailed briefly 7-4. Has led for most of this half. I think that was a pass for Sigiscar that Mazzell chased down. Dormu around that Sigiscar screen. He'll try a three. And Hubbard, another rebound. Down court for Sebo Newton and a lost ball. 9th turnover for Abilene Christian.
They're gonna have to call a carry here in a minute.
Hicks, yeah, tough bucket over Vinzant. Missed most of last season with a foot injury. Came back for a 6th year. From Searcy, Arkansas, Freddie Hicks, spiritual leader of this team. Backdoor cut for Vinzant and able to corral it with his offhand. 7 on the shot clock. Hubbard doesn't take the three, and it has it stripped by Douglas. And ACU with 10 turnovers in the first 12 minutes. It's a blocking foul on Hubbard, and that is his 2nd. Brett Tanner staring down Nate Melson. Abilene Christian narrowly in front of Tarleton State on the Saturday in the Big Country. Welcome back to Abilene, Texas. ACU and Tarleton State. This was the very first opponent for Abilene Christian back in 1919. As you take a look at some of the WAC stats, this is for the entire season. Field goal percentage. As you look at just conference play, Coach, these are the two teams that make the fewest number of shots in the league.
At Tarleton State, attribute that to probably trying to go inside out more than they want to go outside in. Probably the same thing for ACU. I think ACU just hadn't shot the ball really well.
And again, Tarleton State, they're shorthanded, and then there's what Glenn Cyprian said. I walk into the gym every day, I don't even know who's available to practice, much less play. He's missing 4 key players today, including, as we said, 2 of the top 3 scorers in the WAC in college basketball, in Dior Johnson and Cam McDowell. Here's the shot for the lead by Douglas, and how about it? 2nd 3 of the game for Cade Douglas. And Tarleton State regains the lead 17-15. ACU hasn't made a field goal in the last 3+ minutes. Hubbard's on the bench with 2 fouls.
There's not a lot of points going on right here, 17-15, but
Sebo Newton, 3-point threat. Horniker. He'll find Sebo to regain the lead. No. And Sigiscar chases down a long rebound. Hicks to the basket. Freddie Hicks is going to draw a foul and create some contact under the basket. You got 2 Wildcats writhing in pain under the hoop. Sebo Newton's down.
I think they ran into one another.
They did. Zy Wright and Sebo Newton, 2 newcomers. And Newton is still down. Hicks is going to go to the line. Brett Tanner's over there with Alfred Castillo. Yeah, it was Wright who undercut Newton, who's now being helped. There he is. Oh, oh goodness, you see the blood on the temple. Boy, that's tough. And he's got to get one more look here. It was that secondary contact. There was already, I think Sebo would have been okay and of course Zy doesn't see him. But Newton.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the aggressiveness at a shot like that. The rules have changed. There was a time when you draw a charge. Yeah. And you and I have talked about this every broadcast. Yeah. But they've changed the rule. You're going to get a block every time, but they let them play around the basket, especially on finishes above the rim. Well, that sometimes is going to that's going to happen. It'll take a toll on your team if you do that. That's why some bigs like Horniker's, he hardly ever gets hurt because he's not contesting that shot in an athletic way.
Well, certainly Freddie Hicks knows what it's like to battle through the pain, the injuries.
Yeah.
Played 1 year at Arkansas State, came back to Tarleton last year. And all eyes are on Freddie with so many of his teammates unavailable to go today. Coming off the bench, Hicks now has 4, and Tarleton State on a 7-0 run. Well, you think about what this would mean for Tarleton State to win a game on the road, period, but to do it without 4 key players. Big opportunity for the Texans as Christian Alston's in the game for the first time for ACU.
Yeah, it would be huge because you're without your leading scorer.
And their top 2, in fact. Rivera knifes through the defense, throws up a prayer, and he'll get free throws.
There's so much aggressiveness going on around the basket right here. Right there.
Well, I think he sensed the contact and threw up the shot.
Yeah.
And it was Hicks with the personal foul. So Yanni Rivera, 3rd year from Bayamon, Puerto Rico. He got, and another missed free throw for ACU. They're 4 of 7. Brett Tanner seen that too much this year, and that reaction tells you the story. Been a big week for Puerto Rico. Bad Bunny, good Wildcat. Yanni Rivera, who goes 0 for 2 at the line like Rich Smith did. And ACU really struggling here. Some of it's Tarleton State, and some of it's the Wildcats' own issues as Sibo Newton continues to be tended to in that tunnel that you see. There's Cyprian.
Well, a contributing factor to the 5-game losing streak is your free throw. I mean, you can shoot 60%, but shoot 30% from the free throw line, you're going to lose.
Mazzell working his way to the basket, denied. It goes out of bounds. Off, they say, of ACU with 9 on the shot clock. And another look here.
You know what, Grant? We're headed to the kind of game where it's going to be the first one to 60. Oh, they're contesting everything in the basket.
And it was a game like that on Thursday night as ACU beat UT Arlington 67-63. Douglas has a couple of threes and has it poked away by Horniker, and here comes ACU on the run. Rivera against Hicks. Wow, how about that one?
Yeah, nice
He misses
shot.
the 2 free ones. He earned that one.
Yeah, well, he didn't want to get on the free throw line.
And here is Dormu with a friendly rim in enemy territory.
Dormu was already to Potosi by the time that thing went down.
Tarleton State shooting 50% from the floor. Alston has it poked away. Dormu comes out of there with it. 12 turnovers for ACU in the first 14 minutes. Good hands.
Yeah.
By Dormu and the Texans. Under the basket, Sigascar. And a timeout, Brett Tanner. Short-handed, but up by 6. As Tarleton State has come back from down by 3, now up by 6. So timeout here on the floor. And Coach, let's talk about this. Tarleton State playing shorthanded. The ability to get a win on the road today, what would that mean for them?
Oh my gosh, what a shot in the arm that would be. It'd breathe new life into them, and it would be a whole new cast of characters carrying the load, because the better players are not playing.
These two teams will meet again on Monday night in Stephenville. That's the makeup of a game postponed a couple of times because of the ice storm that blew through West Texas. But so far for Tarleton State, so good.
Oh my gosh, yes, they're doing great. They're picking pockets, they're getting a lot of turnovers. They're staying statistically pretty close to what they do and what they've been doing all year.
Brett Tanner burning one of his timeouts. And seeing if he can get his team back on track here. Hubbard on the bench with a couple of personals, but now he's back in. Zai Wright for 3. Yes, and Zai, the 50-year senior, and what do we have, a technical foul?
Yeah, his 3.
This happened to Rich Smith against Tarleton State in Stephenville. Watch the reaction from Zai Wright after he makes the 3. And that is That is an emphasis this year in college. And Brett Tanner is, I think he's less frustrated with the call than he is with what Zai did. So Zai makes 3, but gives up 2 chances here to Cade Douglas. And it doesn't even matter if you taunt the other team. Any kind of a signal like that this year is going to draw the whistle. And so the 3 negated by a couple. And Zai Wright says, my bad.
And another trip with the ball.
And so, after drawing to within 3, it's now back to 5, and Tarleton State can add to it. That was the second 3 made by Abilene Christian in the game today. 2 of 7 from long range. A steal by Wright, trying to make up for it. Looking to run. Doesn't see any numbers there. High post to Horniker. Smith was shot ready, but by the time the ball got to him, it was closed.
A lot of backdoor cuts.
Horniker begging for the ball. Rivera steps back for 3. Yes, back to back from long range. Wright and Rivera. Student section loves it.
And Tanner hollering at him, don't show any emotion.
Yeah.
When you make the 3.
Another take. Oh, a whistle and a foul. They get Rivera. Well, you can hear what the crowd thinks about it. 7th, 8th foul against ACU, so a 1-and-1 chance here for the #1 team in the conference in free throw shooting. Hubbard comes back in, so they try to go offense for defense here with Hubbard in his 2 fouls.
Yeah, that's been the MO all year, is to do things like that.
1-and-1 chance, yes, for Dormu.
But the problem right now, Grant, for ACU, they have 23 points. If they've made 60-70% of their free throws, they're up.
And so Dormu goes 1 of 2, and the lead is 3.
Tarleton doesn't really splash things like a lot of 3s to put you away. They do it methodically.
They get Vinzant for a moving screen. And that's going to put Tarleton State in the double bonus for the last 4:07. Brett Tanner not happy. The 13th turnover of the first half.
Yeah, that's more frustrating than the call, I think.
Tylen Lewis checks in for Ace. There comes Tylen, the freshman from Franklin, Tennessee, just south of Nashville. Vinzant has to come out with his 2nd foul, so 3 Wildcats with 2 fouls each. Hicks, offensive foul. Maybe a little bit of a reward for Brett Tanner's concern. ACU ball down 3 when we come back.
Win is fueled by a chance to compete and the thrill of the action. The cheers from the crowd energize our team and push them on to victory. Whether it's the pre-game excitement of tailgating or the post-game euphoria of winning celebrations, United Supermarkets always brings an A game to your party. From kickoff to tip-off and the final buzzer to the last out, United Supermarkets is proud to be the official sponsor of Abilene Christian University.
For 100 years, Hendrick Health has been the regional leader in healthcare, combining medicine, ministry, and research, providing high-quality healthcare for every patient in West Central Texas, expressing our mission through service consistent with the healing ministry of Jesus Christ, advancing medicine and healthcare through clinical research. In 1924, Hendrick Health was founded by pioneering West Texans who believed in caring for each other. That legacy lives on today, together for better health.
After 23 seasons as a professional playing and working in baseball, leadership in sports are things I deal with every day. I feel like I have my master's in baseball field experience, but I wanted the formal degree to go along with it. I needed something flexible with my schedule, and I wanted a school that shared my faith and values. That's why ACU's Masters in Sports Leadership was the right fit for me.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
Back here at Moody Coliseum on this Valentine's Day. And this is kind of a game that only a mother could love. I mean, what do we have? 24 combined turnovers. Teams, when they're not turning it over, kind of making it at a pretty good clip. 50% shooting for ACU and 53% for Tarleton.
Well, and Tarleton's 45-4 when they shoot 50%. You know, a little statistic I got from the Tarleton SID.
Yeah.
A lot of giving. It's a Valentine. They're in the Valentine's Day.
They are
giving away.
They are. And the hearts are about the only thing that aren't broken for Tarleton State. You got about every body part represented on the injury list.
Yeah.
And Brett Tanner is missing a big of his own. Joseph Scott took an elbow to the face in practice on Tuesday. Broken orbital bone, and there's another turnover. Hubbard wasn't looking. Smith denies, but his call for the foul. That's just, it's a,
yeah.
What is it?
Well, it's one of the reasons why you're in last place. Right here.
Off the shoulder of Hubbard, who's not looking.
And then
Fourth
try to make
turnover
up
for Smith.
He could have conceded the basket and not had that, picked up the foul.
First foul for Smith. Mazzell rattles in the free throw. 14 turnovers.
You know, when Tanner said this is a toughness game, it's all about, even when there's nobody on the free throw line moving around, it's a tough shot. And they've converted.
Mazzell was on that Plano East team that went 40-0 back in 2024, won a 6A state title. And he gives his team a 2-possession lead here. Again, Tarleton State's going to turn you over enough if you take care of the ball yourself. Wright can't get another 3 to go, but the Cats get another offensive rebound, their 5th of the game. Horniker in the high post, handoff to Hubbard. He'll try a 3-pointer, and that did not draw anything.
Yeah.
ACU 3 of 10 from long range. And Tylen Lewis is going to come back in for Hubbard on defense.
His feet were set. It was a good screen. It just didn't go for him.
Yep, that's a shot that Brett Tanner would love Hubbard to take. Dormu, a lob to Sigaskar. Old 97 throwing it down, and it's a 7-point lead, the largest of the game for Tarleton State. In the corner, stepping on the sideline, Alston. 15 turnovers.
You know that little alley-oop right there, I guarantee you Tarleton sees it. Coach Sipp sees that every day in workout.
And again, just not aware of where their feet are, where the ball is.
Well, that's good chemistry.
15 turnovers, goodness. So Alston's foot was on the line.
Yeah, little zone action by the Wildcats. Try to slow them down a little bit.
That's Cam Thomas who checked in, number 30. Dormu fall away. Wright rips it out of the air. 2:25 to go. ACU trying to get a little closer here.
That's the shot the ACU wants them to take. Is he's a moving target.
Lewis saves another turnover at the moment. 10 on the shot clock. Horniker begging for the ball. Triple teamed. And it goes off of Horniker. No, it goes off of Tarleton State with 5 on the clock.
Horniker's wanting that ball. I don't blame him. He's showing numbers.
Are they going to review it?
Not sure.
And Cam Thomas thought it was off of Horniker. And so Coach Sipp going to go to the video review. And when these two teams met, let's take one more look here.
Here we go.
Horniker begs for the ball. Got 3 Texans on him. Can't see from that. Again, the call on the court is ACU ball, and as we always say, it's not just was the call wrong, but is there enough evidence to be able to tell for sure. They met back January the 8th. ACU never trailed in that game. There were a couple of chances late for Tarleton to tie it. Dior Johnson and Cam McDowell each had shots at the rim that wouldn't go. Dior went for 33 points that game. One of 7 games that Dior Johnson has scored 30 or more. And Glenn Cyprian, you can see the joy in his face. Even with all the guys missing, he's finding something with this bunch.
Well, they're having a good time. I mean, it's a little deeper than having a good time. Let's see what happens on this out of bounds.
The left hand of Thomas was the last thing we saw. And again, do you have enough evidence to overturn it? The 3 officials are at the video review table.
You're talking about Coach Sipp and the smile on his face. People can make you unhappy, but they can't steal your joy. And that's why he's happy and he's joyful right now, because he's got some guys playing out of their gourd, and these guys are excited to see what they can do, and as they've had to circle the wagons. Now, on the other hand, frustration with the Wildcats because it's free throws.
Call stands. Call stands.
Okay.
And so Tarleton State loses its challenge. Cost them a timeout as well, and Sipp thought it was worth it. 5 seconds on the shot clock for ACU, which has 15 turnovers and 23 points so far. Got to get it in first, and then you got to get a shot up. Alston, this will count if it goes. It did get rim right, the rebound. Blocked on the stick back and out of bounds off of right.
Wow. I like the fact that they pump fake, but they draw a crowd to themselves in this game right here. Watch the pump
right back
fake.
Up there, and he scores, right?
Right, yes.
Instead.
But you don't know what you're going to do in this game. There's so much physical activity around the basket.
This is Thomas, the turnaround, and the Chicago freshman buries the jumper, makes it a 9-point lead. They've made 6 of their last 8. It's all hands on deck. Whoever's in uniform going to get some playing time today. ACU really struggling mightily on the offensive end. Horniker, handoff to Alston. Tylen Lewis more defensive oriented. Horniker double team. This will count. Yes, Zyrite his second 3, and very quietly goes back down court after being teed up earlier following a 3 make. And ACU 4 of 8 from 3. Beg your pardon, 4 of 12 from 3. 4 of 8 at the free throw line. 6-point lead with under a minute to play. A deflection off of ACU, so Tarleton allowed to go in the backcourt. Out of bounds, Douglas turns it over.
It's ran out of real estate over there.
27 combined turnovers.
I think they're waiting on Sebo.
Sebo Newton still getting some attention after drawing blood earlier in the half on a foul. Douglas comes out. And ACU, after a score and a stop, will try to put a couple of scoring possessions in a row together. In the corner, Rivera. He'll try from 3. No. Alston the rebound. And a travel on Alston.
I was just going to say a really nice strong finish right there, that last possession. ACU's not played that well, but they're only down 6. 2 trips.
Shot clock off. Alston, sophomore from Memphis.
We'll see if ACU's going to zone it. No, they're going to man this thing, this last possession.
Tarleton will attempt to take the last shot here and extend their 6-point lead.
You're going to have to turn him. You can't let him straight line dribble.
Dormu against the freshman Tylen Lewis. Mazzell jumper won't go. Rebound Alston. This will count. If it goes, it's a little short from Rich Smith. And ACU, as they did on Thursday night, will go to the break trailing. They rally to beat UT Arlington. They'll have to come back again against a scrappy Tarleton State team playing shorthanded. Madison O'Shields is with Brett Tanner.
Team turnovers in the first half. What do you want to see from your guys in the second half?
Yeah, we got to be better, man. We just weren't engaged. I don't like our energy. I don't like our effort level. And none of those turnovers were forced. Like, we just got to play a cleaner version of ACU basketball in the second half.
Thanks, Coach. Guys, back to you.
Madison, thank you. Thanks, Coach Tanner. You heard him say it. This is about his team, he says. Tarleton State, really impressive. Missing 4 key players, but up by 6. Here in Abilene, battle of teams trying to crawl out of the wax cellar.
Hello, welcome to the halftime show. I'm Ashley Henderson, and this is Zion Webb. Today we have an intense rivalry between Tarleton and ACU, a big game for both teams who are both coming off huge wins that ended their losing streaks. Zion, what did you see in this first half?
Yeah, like you said, both of these teams coming out super big. Like we said, these are 2 teams that are not too far away from each other. The West Texas rivalry, we've seen this team all the time. Obviously, like Grant said earlier, there's 4 guys that are out for Tarleton. You can't even tell. They're playing big time, and this rivalry goes way back. And it's the reason why they're playing so dominant and electric here today.
Exactly. Let's look at some stats from this first half now.
Yeah, like you said, Kate Douglas, man, he's been doing some good things. Andrew Sigaskar, man, I'm telling you, he's been doing some good things for Tarleton State, but it really hasn't been the way that Tarleton's playing. It's the way that ACU has been playing. None of their top guys are in the big-time scoring today. Joseph Vincent coming out, and Yanni Rivera, like Grant said earlier, Joseph Vincent is a defensive guy. They haven't been getting exactly what they need from the Wildcats haven't been getting what they need from their top players. So today we need to see that continue to come back. They're not doing really anything right now, and I think they need to get back offensively and get back in their zone today.
That's right, Zion. Now let's look at some highlights.
Yeah, man, in these highlights, we're going to see a couple of made baskets by Tarleton State like we saw a little earlier from Sigaskar. Man, he was dominated, especially in that paint. But the thing I want to talk about is Cade Hornecker. Man, all I saw him doing at the beginning of this game was turning over the ball. It looks like the only thing ACU's winning in this game is the turnover competition that they're having with Tarleton. Cade Hornecker needs to realize that he's 7 foot tall. Get to the basket and try to ask for the ball, put the ball up, and stop playing as small as he is playing. He needs to put some points up. Last time against Tarleton State, he had 12, and those were big ones for ACU, so we need to see him dominate in that way. And ACU just in general, man, they started going a little electric lights out in that second half of the first quarter. They need to get back to shooting up those 3 balls because they were doing some good things once they got those 3 balls rolling.
Right, so Tarleton leading 32-26. What does this team need to do to keep this momentum going in the second half and get that win today on the road? Yeah,
like Brett said, it's not necessarily Tarleton State doing all the things today, but one thing they are doing is doing a good job of mixing things up against ACU. ACU is really confused, just continuing to get onto them as soon as they grab the ball. Obviously, they're lighting up when Cade Hornecker touches the ball and other bigs on the team. So for them, continue to just be in their face. And ACU, come on now, let's just score some points, move some things around, and not let Tarleton dictate the way you play.
Thanks, Zion. That's all we have at the desk. We'll be going straight to break.
Back here in Abilene, Texas, where Tarleton State leads Abilene Christian 32-26. We're getting ready for the second half here at Moody Coliseum. Grant Boone alongside the coach, Ron Holmes. Well, for ACU fans, it's like biting into that chocolate inside the box of Valentine's candy. You're like, what is this one? Not what they were expecting after a big Thursday night victory.
Well, if you're a pessimist, we've seen this before. If you're an optimist, it's not what we were expecting.
Right.
You're right. Because we're getting down to the end of the year when we need to position ourselves for the conference tournament.
And for Tarleton State, we said it, missing 2 of the top 3 scorers in the conference and the nation, and yet Glenn Cyprian has this team playing, as you'd expect, hard.
Oh, absolutely. But the thing about Tarleton's dressing room right now, Grant, they're hearing maybe the same thing Coach Gillespie was telling them, but they're hearing it from Cyprian, and they believe in him. And he's making a believer out of himself.
Someone's going to win a second straight game after a 7-game losing streak. And take a look at our halftime adjustments. Attack the board, embrace the opportunity. If you're Tarleton, as we said, a chance to get a road win without 4 of your key players, and for ACU, it's pretty simple. You heard Coach Tanner say, hang on to the ball.
Well, play ACU basketball because it's more about ACU than it's been about Tarleton.
And make the free throws. 4 of 8 at the line. ACU, Tarleton State, as usual, terrific at the line. 8 of 10, leading the conference in that category. ACU and Tarleton State, they have locked horns 86 previous times. Tarleton State with the slight advantage, 47-39. In the D1 era, ACU with a small lead in this series, 6-5. These two teams, these two schools, used to being at the top of the football standings in the United Athletic Conference. At the moment, at the bottom of the WAC men's basketball standings, and with Southern Utah having knocked off UT Arlington just moments ago in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Southern Utah snaps a losing streak. UT Arlington drops a 4th straight. And one of these teams is going to creep a little bit closer to UTA.
You know, yesterday when you were talking to Coach Cyprian on the phone, you talked about how much the marginal difference there's between 1st and 6th in this league.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. UTA is going to lose 4 in a row. And there they were on top of the world.
Yep. And of course, at the moment, as the second half is underway, Utah Valley is not eligible for the WAC tournament. Zy Wright gets the start for Abilene Christian in the second half. Oscypher Owens backing him down. Turnaround, yeah. Oscypher Owens at 6'7". First year here for the Texans.
And I like that kind of basketball right there. You single out, go one-on-one, take advantage of size.
In the corner, Rivera for 3. ACU unable to answer. Mazzell all the way to the basket. Unstopped.
See, now that's what Tanner's talking about. That's not ACU basketball. That's what's driving him crazy. You know, and on the other hand, I don't know that those guys would have done that if Coach Gillespie would have allowed that.
Largest lead of the game for Tarleton State. And a foul on ACU, trying to get the offensive rebound. And they get Joseph Vinzant, and that's going to be his 3rd. And you see Big Cade Horniker coming to the scorers table to check in for Vinzant, who leads ACU in scoring with 7.
A really good start for Tarleton.
Largest lead of the game for Tarleton State. And they can add to it here. Brett Tanner does not like what he's seen. Tarleton had Thursday night off. ACU won a close one against UT Arlington. And here less than 48 hours later, back at it. Sigascar with a good catch, working his way in on Horniker. No, and Horniker, the good defense on Sigascar.
Yeah.
ACU trying to score here to start the second half, and they can't. They turn it over. 17th of the game. Mazzell to the hoop. No. Horniker has it stripped. Mazzell a tough bucket over the 7-footer.
I think I'd call a timeout if I were ACU. Try to reset.
Coming out of the locker room less than 2 minutes in. Their 6-point deficit is doubled.
I think a part of what the issue is with the Wildcats right now, what they're thinking, is that they've been blown out by 20 in 2 or 3 conference games, and this is creeping in on them right now.
Kaya Isaac to Owens. Crossover. Has it stripped by Smith, and they're going to say it is ACU ball.
Now, I say all that in deference to the Wildcats.
Let's watch again as Smith gets a hand on it. I don't know about that one. But Glenn Cyprian had lost a challenge, so he couldn't challenge it.
Right. But the Wildcats need to put 2 or 3 trips together where they score to feel better about themselves.
It was attacking the basket in the second half against UT Arlington that turned that game around. They were down by 3.
Well, that and they went inside to the paint. I think 8 of their first 10 possessions in the second half came from shots in the paint.
And there's one in tight. Horniker to Zy Wright.
Just like that right there.
And the Cats are on the board. It is attacking the basket.
You feel a whole lot better about yourself, but you run the threat of getting on the free throw line, which is where they need to be to remedy their issues.
Tarleton State. A third of its roster unavailable. 5 on the shot clock as Mazzell goes to the basket. They wheel it around, and they won't get a shot off. 14th turnover for Tarleton State. Good defense by Abilene Christian.
That was great defense by Abilene Christian. I mean, Coach Sipp did not get too upset about that possession.
It was right. You see, they're kind of slapping it out of Kaya Isaac's hands, and that created the frenzy that Cade Douglas wasn't able to overcome.
Well, you have to be tougher, according to these two coaches. This is just a tough game.
Sebo Newton, well, he's got the scars to show his toughness. Coming back in for the first time since getting that injury to his head. Hubbard to the basket, turnaround. Big one from Hubbard. ACU trying to work its way back. Just his second field goal of the game in 6 tries. And the lead is 8.
Paint touches for the Wildcats. That's what it's going to take.
24-12, Tarleton State leading in points in the paint, to your point. Sigiscar working on Horniker and gets the work done.
That's too easy. Coach Tanner's over there thinking. But that is that's a really good athlete, Sigiscar. And he's long, 6'9".
See if Hubbard attacks again. He'll try the pull up and just off the mark that time. 10-point lead and a chance to extend it for the Texans. Isaac. And good defense on the interior. Ball goes out of bounds. Off of Tarleton State, says Grant Jeffries. An immediate timeout. Tarleton continuing to apply the pressure. They've extended their lead to double digits early in the second half on the road in Abilene.
On the court, I bring toughness every day. Off the court, you deserve a team that's bigger, better, and tougher.
The same toughness and resilience that Braden and the Wildcats show on the court is the same we bring to every trial at Keith and Morphin. In the courtroom, there's only one way we play: bigger, better, tougher.
When leagues show up, it's like a full court press.
But that's when Bar Residential steps up and takes the shot.
Clean installs, solid decking, and a watertight finish every time.
When the clock's running down, we deliver.
At Bar Residential, we finish strong.
every roof, every time.
Back here in Abilene, let's take you around the WAC and show you what's happening in the league. As we mentioned, Southern Utah has defeated UT Arlington, snapping a 2-game losing streak and handing UTA its 5th straight loss. And tonight, CBU, 9 straight wins, Utah Tech 5 straight wins, meeting in St. George.
That'll be a good game. Great atmosphere for that game.
It's a battle for first place. All right, so let's see if ACU, coming out of the timeout here, can answer. Seabone Newton loses the ball. ACU maintains it. Another offensive rebound. Mashai Hill in the game. Hand off to Hubbard. Shot fake. Kick into the corner. Smith doesn't take a lot of threes. Can't get that one to go. Tarleton looks to run. Fast break points, one of the best in the nation. Stripped by Smith. And he's going to pick up his 2nd personal.
Well, he didn't complain about it. But I thought
that makes he's most of the people behind us are, so
yeah.
He's one of the few who isn't complaining.
Yeah.
Take another look here.
Yeah, he got it.
A lot of hand. Freddie Hicks, 100th game as a Texan. 3 of 3 at the line today. Just battling through injury. And,
you're talking about a Tarleton team that's a little more engaged on the bench than what we saw when we were in Stephenville the last time. They never had the lead.
Right. It was a game that ACU jumped out to a 9-0 lead and was never caught. And a rebound from Mashai Hill as Hicks goes 1 for 2. 11-point lead. ACU with 30 points, 35 minutes into the game. 2 of 8 in the second half shooting. Rivera to Seabone Newton for 3. Desperately needed.
Yes.
And that makes it an 8-point game.
A lot more of that if you're the Wildcats. Now, I want to see what they do defensively if they're going to switch 1 through 5. It'd be hard to do that with Mashai in the game.
Mazzell and Sigiscar shakes free. Hill thought he got all ball. He gets part of the sign there under the basket. And it's going to be Sigiscar to the free throw line to shoot 2. Not had a lot of free throw attempts, but getting his 3rd straight start. Brett Tanner looking to Cade Horniker coach him up. Glenn Cyprian, it's his 9th game as the acting head coach. And Sigiscar misses the first one. 50% in conference play.
This would be the time of the game whenever you start watching guys on the free throw line to see who you'd foul in the last 2 minutes.
So they go 2 of 4 at the line their last 2 trips. And the lead is 9. And AC with the ball back. We run the weave here. Hill sets the screen. Rivera to the basket. And another block by Tarleton State. Their 5th of the game. And Texans will slow it down, and Glenn Cyprian calls the play. Mazzell, the sophomore. Sigiscar didn't really want the ball out there in space. Hicks with time running out on the shot clock, poked away with 2.5 to go. And that may have been good for Tarleton to reset a little bit because the clock was dwindling.
Well, their spacing was bad on that. Sigiscar was in the wrong spot.
Mazzell will be the trigger man, and Mashai Hill will
watch a lob.
Trying to deny. They get the lob. It's intercepted, though. Wrong team caught it. Wright to Seabone Newton under the basket for Hill.
You got to go up with that one now.
Tries to go the other way, and it's blocked. The 6th block of the game for Tarleton.
You know, that you're at the point already with 13 minutes to go. If you're the Wildcats, you've got to go all the way to the hole. You're going to have to create something because the half court has not worked.
Hill to Wright. Rivera doesn't take the 3. Wright will, but a foul on Porter. Damian Porter Jr. fouls Wright, who'll go to the line for 3.
Well, maybe this will be the start for the Wildcats to start hitting free throws.
And again, Porter getting a lot more playing time because of all the injuries.
Right. And he made a mistake right there. You have to have the shooter have a place to land, which he did. He crowded.
ACU made 5 of 6 at the free throw line late in the game to seal the win against UT Arlington after the Mavericks had come back to cut it to a one-possession game. And Wright made 2 of those free throws. He gets 3 here. From the Augusta, Georgia area, Lincolnton, Georgia, playing his first year in Division I ball after a couple of years on the D2 level. 3 free throws for Zy Wright, and it's back to the same deficit as it was at the break. After Tarleton stretched it to a dozen. Joseph Vinzant, you see, back in the game. Toughness game, both coaches say it.
Well, with Sigascar out now, it's going to be switching at all 5 spots probably. Well, they're in zone right now.
Matthias Brabel, number 25, checks in from Czechia. Dormu will try a 3. Oh, how about Tarleton State with 3 threes in 6 tries today?
Zone buster.
And the lead goes back to 9. They answer the 3 free throws from Zy Wright. ACU just 3 of 11 shooting here in the second half. Yanni Rivera's got no one to go to. He hands it off to Sibo Newton. In the corner, Yanni for 3. No, and Braden Hubbard with an offside rebound back to Mashai Hill. And a foul on Tarleton State. They get Vrabel. Tarleton State 5 of 9 from the floor in the second half. Inbound comes to Hubbard.
Now go downhill.
Hill wants the ball. Downhill, down to Hill. No, Hill comes out. Rivera for 2, no. Hicks the rebound, and ACU 3 of 13 in the second half. Rivera now 2 of 8 shooting. He had the 3 threes on Thursday night that were so instrumental in the win over UT Arlington. Offensive foul. Yanni sold it. Wesley Ford came flying in. Grant Jeffries was right in front of it. But, let's watch it again here. And you see Wesley Ford flying in. All right, so a turnover for Tarleton, the 4th of the half for the Texans. And they're creeping closer to ACU. 17-16, the turnover tally. Rich Smith struggling a bit today. 4 turnovers for him.
There it is.
And without a point. Underneath for Vinzant, goes up, no, tipped in the air, and Vinzant gets his own miss.
They're calling post-ups for mismatches. Vinzant had the smaller man on him. They screen off the ball, he comes backside, and there he is wide open. Well, I wouldn't say wide open. No one's been wide open in this game.
Dormu is going to draw the foul from Sibo Newton, 4th foul against Abilene Christian. Each team been called for 4. Tarleton State up 7 at the under 12 timeout, trying to get a big road win here in Abilene. To Abilene, Texas, a warm Valentine's Day, and Tarleton State in a series where there's not a lot of love lost. These teams that have been playing each other for more than 100 years. Take a look at the Texans' upcoming schedule. Again, these 2 teams play again Monday night, the makeup of a game iced out a couple of weeks ago. That'll be in Stephenville. And then they're home for Southern Utah and Utah Tech, so a chance to be home for a couple of weeks for Tarleton State. Then they'll head out west for ACU at Tarleton, but home next Saturday against Southern Utah. ACU has the midweek off next week, and then they'll head out to Utah for a couple of games, and then the next week out to California Baptist. Tarleton State, without Dior Johnson or Cam McDowell, Leroy Kelly, Chris Impaka, they had all of them when they played on January the 8th, and they lost to ACU. Now they're up by 7. Takeaway from ACU, and another near takeaway from Dormu. The ball is going to go out of bounds as he went flying to the floor.
Oh, you could see that one. I saw that out of the corner of my eye.
Van Zandt didn't want to risk it. He knew it was out of bounds off of Dormu. Van Zandt with 9. Zy Wright with 11, so 20 points off the bench. You got a team that leads the nation in bench points, Tarleton State, but most of that's because Dior Johnson comes off the bench, and he's not available today.
You know, something I wanted to
There's a video review going on, not sure what here.
Well, they wanted to see if he was off
shot
of
clock
it,
maybe.
Oh, it could be a shot clock.
It could be determining whether or not the shot clock should have reset, perhaps.
Yeah.
I think they didn't. I think they reset it and shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I think
There,
so.
no one had
yeah,
possession.
23 seconds. There we go. Go ahead.
No, it's a good call. I'll talk about it here in a minute. You always have a lot of good calls.
Well, ACU has dialed the wrong number too often here today. Down low for Hubbard. Shot. Oh, they get a reach-in foul on Tarleton. And I think they're going to get Freddie Hicks.
Yeah. If I'm ACU, more and more and more of that right there, because the one thing they've not done well today is half-court sets. It's one pass on a block and let's go score. Tarleton, on the other hand.
Inbound intercepted. Brett Tanner is livid. Instead of the lob, Rich Smith went more straight on. That's Smith's 5th turnover. And the 18th of the game for ACU. In a game they trail by 7. Dormu working on Vincent. Now Mizell, fall away for 2. Yes, Jordan Mizell.
Well, that's a good series for the Texans. Really good series.
And so they score off the ACU turnover. Smith shuffles it to Vincent. Back to Smith.
That's
intended for Hill and Rich Smith. Goodness, 6 turnovers and a foul on ACU as Sebo Newton can't believe it.
Yeah.
Smith's going to be replaced here. Almost a carry by Dormu. Smith was in a great scoring groove as the conference season began. But you called this early, and in fact it was the Utah Tech game January 1st. His scoring meant that other guys weren't getting into the flow, and so the emphasis for Rich Smith from the coaches was begin getting other guys involved. It seems to have impacted Rich kind of in a negative way, and today a rough one. And 2 misses from Dormu with his team up by 9. A team that's the best team in the conference in free throw makes. Offensive foul on Mashai Hill, the 20th turnover for ACU today.
Well, it's just not like ACU to turn the ball over 20 times, but if you're Tarleton, it's just like ACU to turn it over 20 times because we make you do that.
And Hill just put the body into Dormu.
Sometimes the screen that they call the foul on, it's on the guy that has the ball because you should let him set first and then move.
Under 10 to go here. Sigiscard is contested at the rim and can't get it to go. Good defense by ACU. Rivera runs the point. A bounce to Vincent, who loses it going up. But there is no challenge left for Tarleton State. They're convinced it was off of ACU. They lost their challenge in the first half. I think it was off of Sigiscard, looked like.
Sigiscard.
Inbound comes to Zy Wright, the Cats' leading scorer today.
Honeker's got to post up.
Tough shot, draws a foul. And Zy Wright has been the best offensive player for ACU today, not just in points, but in activity, scoring at all 3 levels.
Now ACU's calling this up. They're wanting to know if the basket was, if there's goaltending or basket interference. Or.
And the officials say no.
Yeah.
Zyterius Wright played at Tarleton State on the D2 level. He was all conference there. 2 free throws here for Zai. Also played at UT Permian Basin.
See, that's 4 free throws in a row now.
Yeah, all from him.
Yeah, and it's contagious.
Brett Tanner hopes so. Danny Young, Ted Krass, Doug Carliskin, Cam Henderson down that bench. And again, it's not just are you making, it's who's taking them.
Yeah.
And for ACU, they get one of their best in Zai Wright. The lead is 7. It's been as high as 12. ACU can't really get any closer. It's been a supreme effort from Tarleton State, missing 4 of its players. Not just 4 players, but 2 of the best in the conference. This will count if it goes. Yes, Cade Douglas. A logo 3. And a technical foul on Douglas.
What? Coach Tanner called for that.
Right from the cat's mouth. And he does look over at the ACU bench.
Yeah.
And so Zai Wright, not surprisingly, will go to the line. He was the one teed up in a similar situation in the first half, and Douglas made the 2 free throws.
You know, I've always thought that the technical free throw, you should have your teammates come stand next to you. Let's watch him, see if he says something. Good shot. Well, we can't see, but he's looking over at the bit. Yeah, he definitely looked over there and said something. It was.
Well, in a game that both teams really need, these are gifts each team has given the other, so I guess you say they cancel out. Hubbard trying to get something going here.
Look for Hubbard.
Coming off a screen, this for 3. Big one for Braden Hubbard. It's a 5-point game.
Yeah, Hubbard had
5-point trip.
Yeah, well, exactly, and he had the option to take the 3 or to go to the block.
So Douglas makes the logo 3, gets teed up, and ACU scores 5 in a row. This is Damian Porter, junior, back in the game. 7 on the shot clock. Mazzell working around his own man. Oh, it's fall away for 3. And ACU's Horniker gets it. Cats can make it a 1-possession game here. Under 8 to go. A lob for Horniker goes up. Yes, Horniker. Little screen and roll. That's worked over there for about 150 years in basketball.
Dr. Naismith thinks so. I think I'd call a timeout if I were Tarleton.
From a dozen down to 3. And indeed, Glenn Cyprian says, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Abilene Christian on a 7-0 run that began with a couple of technical free throws. Wildcats back within 3, the closest they've been in the second half.
Hey guys, it's almost that time. The WAC tournament tips off March 11th in Las Vegas, and things are starting to take shape. Right now, Tarleton State sits at the 6th seed with Abilene Christian right behind at the 7th. Tarleton did not play in the WAC tournament last season, but they've still shown they can compete nonetheless. As for the Wildcats, their run ended in the quarterfinals against Seattle University. It will all come down to this final conference stretch to decide seeding. Grant, back to you.
Okay, Madison, thank you. And again, the big asterisk in there is that Utah Valley at this moment is not eligible to go to Vegas, which means you'd have 6 teams instead of 7. We'll see if they pay that exit fee as they're headed off to the Big West. All right, after the timeout, you got a media timeout coming as well. Sigiscar to the basket, blocked by Horniker. And here comes the media timeout. Sigiscar to the line, trying to snap a little 7-0 ACU run as the Wildcats making a little surge here on home turf. Andy Sigiscar, redshirt freshman from Orléans, France, is trying to get to the Orleans Arena with his team on a head of steam. And after winning last Saturday in a close one on the road at Southern Utah, having Thursday off, the Texans missing 4 of their top players. In fact, 4 of their top 6 scorers and their top 2 are giving Abilene Christian everything they can handle. But here's the team that, as we said, leads the conference in free throw shooting, but it's those guys who are missing today largely responsible for that great free throw shooting. It's guys like Sigiscar today going to the line and not converting. 2 big misses, and ACU can tie it or cut it to 1 here. Vinzant back in the game. Made a 3 earlier.
There he is.
ACU trying to get to the rim. And a throwaway.
Don't do that.
Threw it at the feet of Rivera, the 21st turnover.
Now, one thing that Tarleton has not done well is run a half-court sets. The transition for those guys, get them excited, get them going. And free throws. Sigiscar's 0-4 right now.
Yeah, and they're 2 of 8 at the line here in the second half.
And they're the best free throw in the league.
Right, but again, as we say, it's usually Johnson and McDowell and guys like that shooting those freebies. Here's Dormu to the hoop, doesn't take it. Mizell will, and Jordan Mizell with a dozen. And ACU, which squandered a chance to tie it or get within 1, now back down by 5. Hubbard in on Owens. Yes, Braden Hubbard.
I don't know why that's not a foul.
Sigiscar.
Why was that not a foul? I don't know, because it wasn't. It was a strong move.
13 now for Hubbard on 4 of 9 shooting and 5 rebounds. Dormu again to the line, or to the basket, and Douglas can't get it to go, and again, AC with a chance.
You got to go all the way to the hole. There you go.
Rivera, kick out to Hubbard, who fumbles and regains. Cross court tipped by Mizell. That's good hands. 6:01 to go.
That's one thing about Tarleton. If their offense isn't working, their defense travels on that bus with those guys. They have done an excellent job. If you can get tips, those are statistically, those are positives.
Tarleton has led this game since the 8-minute mark of the first half. A lob in to Seabone Newton, 10 on the shot clock. Horniker from Rivera.
Points in the paint. Points in the paint.
And ACU has outscored Tarleton State in the paint in the second half, 8-0.
Good set. Now this is what Tarleton's done not too well right now.
And again, players playing late, not accustomed to these moments. Can they handle the pressure? They have all game. Douglas back to Dormu with 4 on the shot clock. Long one for Dormu. And Hubbard out-wrestles Sigiscar. And the Cats can get their first lead in a month of Sundays. Too high for Horniker. And Brett Tanner says, just calm down. 22nd turnover.
You know, ACU. You're looking for something easy. When you're in transition, you're looking for the easy way, because those are the easiest buckets to get. But there comes a time in the game and you've got to have a feel for the game to know when not to do that and when to do that. Don't take away from what we've been doing well if you're ACU. Now, on the other hand, the stoppage in play, the having to walk the ball up the floor, that's not Tarleton's forte either. And it shows.
52-51 Tarleton State. Both teams struggling to protect the ball as they have all year. Got a foul before the shot on Mashai Hill, and that's going to put Sigiscar at the line for a 1-and-1. Wesley Ford was emphatic that the contact came before the shot attempt, and with the continuation rule in effect this year, it's really got to be definitive and clear, and that was the call. So Sigiscar 1 for 4 at the line today, just missed 2 a minute ago. 1-1. Nothing but net when it went through. Front of the rim. Just hung tantalizingly on the front arc before dropping through. He's come on here in his first season as a college player. And Horniker gets the rebound, and again, ACU can tie or take the lead. Third chance they've had.
Yeah, let's see if they run something on the block.
They go horns, so they put the double screen. Hubbard for the lead. Right the rebound. Fouled as he goes up, and he can tie it at the line with 4:37 to go. Wright to the rescue today for ACU.
That's just
and Coach, that's the 13th offensive rebound for Abilene Christian.
Yeah, that's made all the difference in the world right now. I think if I'm Coach Soup, I have to find a way to speed this game up a little bit, maybe a little token pressure.
Tarleton State took the lead on a bucket from Kay Douglas with just under 8 minutes to play in the first half. It has not been tied yet. Wright can do it here. 8 of 8 at the line, make it 9 of 9. We start over with 4:37.
Yeah.
Did you expect anything different when
No.
ACU and Tarleton get together?
Oh no, it's an ugly game. You said it, tough love. Now they have to find a way to speed this thing up a little bit, create a little more opportunity. But I think you called it earlier, Grant. We're getting deep into the game. Substitutions are not there for Tarleton like they've been. They've got an incredibly deep bench.
Shot clock didn't start.
I think their bench was #1 in the nation points.
Yeah.
At 41.
Yeah.
23 of those points are sitting at home somewhere.
Right. All right, 4:37 to play. Wright with 17. He had a dozen at Tarleton State, and now has matched his season high in his first and only year as a Wildcat, but this is the most he's had against a Division I program. And ACU's needed every bit of it. This always feels a little unfair to me. The clock didn't start. The team with the ball gets penalized because the clock didn't start. It almost feels like just redo it. There was no duress to inbound the ball, but they lose 3 seconds.
Well, I agree with you.
Start it over. DJ Dormu. A deflection, and Seabown Newton comes out of there with it for ACU. And ACU can get their first lead since the first half. That's the 18th turnover for Tarleton State. 40 combined today. Mashai Hill.
There he is.
Right on the block. Turnaround, short-armed it, and Vrabel comes out of there with a rebound for Tarleton State. Most of Wright's points have come at the line. More than half of his 17 at the stripe. We'll have a media timeout, the last one at the next whistle.
I'm going to find Hicks if I'm Tarleton.
Dormu to the hoop. No! Rebound ACU. Newton wants to push. Newton in transition.
There you go, settle down.
Newton bandaged up after a nasty spill. Hubbard fakes for 3, kicks it out to Rivera for the lead. Way off the mark, and I think that's a foul on Tarleton.
That's a good call.
Pushing off Wright, I believe.
Yeah.
And free throws are coming after this media timeout. We'll see if the free throw shooter is Hill or Wright. You know who ACU wants it to be. We'll see. The College of Biblical Studies and the Tower of Light on the Abilene Christian campus, just steps away from Moody Coliseum, where Abilene Christian and Tarleton State meeting for the 87th time, and it feels like the first 86 have gone like this as well. They haven't, trust me. There have been some wild swings in this series, but take a look. Wright and Hubbard, 30 points, the rest of the team 23. And it's been Wright and Hubbard 13 of 13 at the free throw line.
Well, ACU has found a way to win. There's a path to victory in every game, but combinations, you and I talked about this. What identifies your team? I guess with ACU, they just find a way to win. And while it's been Wright hadn't been there all year, but now Wright's there today.
Yeah, and Wright's been great against Tarleton State. It is going to be Mashai Hill shooting the 1-and-1 free throw. That was the 9th foul of the half against Tarleton. So this is the last of the 1-and-1s. And 1-1 is at the line to shoot it. Mashai Hill, that's enormous for a guy that doesn't shoot much.
Free throws are infectious.
Brett Tanner saying, "Oh, we got this. No problem."
Well,
if we could see like a ultrasound of what's happening in the gut.
Yeah.
Second free throw, Mashai. How about this guy? It's been a struggle for a chunk of the day, but he comes out after 2 free throws. The front end was good and the back end as well.
Gets a nice hand as he leaves.
And he said, "Look, it's my number, 1-and-1."
But look at here now. This is Tarleton having to walk the ball up the floor again.
First lead since the 8-minute mark of the first half for ACU. Another deflection and is that a ball out of bounds, I think. Zy Wright, Division II player, dearly love a chance to go to the Division I NCAA tournament. Everybody's going to Vegas. One team will come out of there with a ticket to the big dance. Dormu bounces to Mazzell, and a great defensive stand by Sebo Newton.
Wow.
Looked like a point-blank bucket.
All at the rim. All the action's been at the rim. Let's see if they go to Hubbard.
Trying to add to the lead here. They'll run the weave. Wright and Hubbard have the hot hands, as you saw. Take it down to 10 on the shot clock. Screen from Hubbard. Newton will try a three-pointer. Newton for 3! Sebo trying to bandage up what had been an ugly start to the game for ACU.
And a 5-point lead right now might as well be 10 if you're ACU, because they've not done well.
Douglas with a strong drive.
Wow. Just
the
as soon as I say that.
3-point lead with 2 minutes to go from Abilene. They'll meet again in Stephenville about 90 minutes from here in 48 hours' time. Rivera screen from Hubbard. Hubbard for 3. How about it? Braden Hubbard pushes the lead to 6. And now can Tarleton answer with their top 2 scorers sidelined?
You want to force the jump shot.
Douglas has made some. Dormu for 3. Rims the basket. And a foul on Tarleton State. We're going the other way.
The high screen and roll for Braden Hubbard. Watch that screen. Step out. Step in.
It was from a similar spot that he missed a 3 2 Saturdays ago that would have tied the game at the end of the game against Southern Utah. That time, nothing but net for Braden Hubbard. And now, Hubbard to the line to shoot 2. That was the 10th foul, so double bonus. And it's still single bonus for Tarleton.
And they're not missing free throws all of a sudden. What is that, 7 in a row? 8?
Well, they were 12 for 12 in the second half after 4 of 8 in the first. And Mashai Hill with 2 of the biggest he's ever made.
Now here's where Tarleton's good, Grant.
3-possession game. Steal by Hubbard. Saves it inbounds. And now time running out on the Texans. Hubbard down court for Vinzant. Finds Sebo Newton, who throws it down. Sebo!
Wow.
Suddenly it's a 9-point game. Dormu can't answer. Running out of bodies and running out of gas, Tarleton State. A tremendous effort.
What a win.
But not quite enough, it doesn't appear. It's a 13-2 run. And it's come from a lot of contributors for Abilene Christian. Here's the latest. How about Sebo? And under the same basket where he had his head cut open.
Yeah.
He just closes the game for ACU. Hubbard free throw.
I wish they could show Tanner sitting on the bench. It's as if he does this every day. Got my legs full.
Yeah, we saw him earlier in that same pose. There it is again.
Wow. I think Tarleton spent the whole second half trying to walk the ball up the floor, and I think that's what's cost them the game. Now, they get in transition, all of a sudden they're great athletes.
Braden Hubbard playing like a WAC preseason first teamer. And Zy Wright has played that way as well. Hubbard, by the way, 19 points and 6 rebounds today. Dormu hustling to the basket, spins it in, and cuts it back to single digits with under a minute to go. Yeah. The job that Glenn Cyprian has done just to keep his team in games with all these stars missing is noteworthy. But we said it earlier, could they, at the end of a game, sustain it for 40 minutes? The effort is there for Tarleton State, but the bodies just aren't.
No, the bodies are not right there. This is probably a time in the game, if you're on the bench, you're thinking about, we have 23 points sitting at home. You know, our leading scorer is hurt.
43 when you count McDowell, unable to go as well.
Well, they average 41 points off of their bench.
Yeah.
So that figures into this somehow. But I think, you know, whatever happens when Tarleton comes down the floor, you have to turn them. You can't let them straight line dribble.
All right, for ACU at this point, up 9 with 47.8. They're going to have to help Tarleton State. And the quick foul will send Sebo Newton to the free throw line. Newton missed a week last month. And Brett Tanner says about Chaladrian Newton, Sebo, as he's been known his whole life, he says, our offense is better when he's in the game. Everything is more smooth. There he is, just kicking it back onto Saturday afternoons. Yeah. Wife Lindsay here. This is their Valentine gift to one another. Brett Tanner and Lindsay. Tanner.
Sebo's better with him. He's better in the game because he's a threat.
A little short there, and he's going to get his own rebound. How about that?
You better foul again. There you go.
Offensive rebound, the 14th of the game for Abilene Christian.
That's huge. It's been a totally different half for the Cats. Tarleton's done a really nice job. I just think that Tarleton needed to get a little more in transition and speed the game up a little bit, create more trips. They don't take enough threes.
Well, right. We said they're they take the second fewest of anyone in the 361 teams in college basketball. But for Glenn Cyprian, he's trying to figure it out on the fly, what he's got and who he can play late.
True, but when you get behind like they're behind right now, you've got to have some threes, but you don't shoot very many. So it's a little out of the ordinary for you.
They're 4 of 11 for the second straight game, which is a fine percentage, but 11 is a low total in today's college basketball. And Abilene Christian, which trailed by a dozen here in the second half, leads by 12.
Well, and they found a way. You and I have discussed in depth about what is the makeup of the Wildcats. We know what the makeup of the Texans. They're tough, but ACU has found a way to be tough, to play tough, and they've overcome some little demons. They've made free throws in the second half. You can build on that.
Not pinning this on one play or one player. But Tarleton State went up 10 on a three-pointer from Cade Douglas. And he looks to the ACU bench, and he gets teed up. Yeah. That began a 7-0 run for ACU that really felt like it turned this game around. That was with under 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, and they haven't made a three since.
They have not.
And they I don't know if they've even attempted a three after that.
It was 50-40. Put it this way, 50-40 when Douglas made that logo three.
Yeah.
Since then, 29-7.
Yeah. Well, they found a way.
The exact same thing, minus the free throws, might have happened had the technical not been called, maybe. But it felt like a turning point. Down a dozen, And another takeaway. Sebo Newton comes out of there again, and Zy Wright fittingly on the floor, getting the uniform dirty, creates the takeaway, and Sebo back to the line.
Lest we celebrate it with the Wildcats. If you're an ACU fan, you're going to play these guys Monday night, and there's a chance you're going to play them in Las Vegas. Welcome to the NBA.
Well, yeah, and talking to Coach Sip, it's not bad practice for Vegas, where you're going to have to play multiple nights.
Right.
The task at hand for these teams, get out of the 6-7 spot.
Yes.
Let's say Utah Valley does pay their exit fee and they go to the tournament. 6 will play 7 for the right to go to the quarterfinals. You want to be in the top 5. You'd love to be top 2 because you'll get a bye into the semifinals. This game has flipped dramatically. And Tarleton State with Dormu. How about that play from Douglas? Third time, fourth time a charm, yes. Cam Thomas. Inbound comes to Newton. And a hug from Mazzell will put Newton at the line where he's 5 of 6. AC was 4 of 8 at the free throw line first half, 19 of 21 in the second half.
But that sequence right there, that possession right there is what I'm talking about. They are so much more athletic in 5 spots than ACU. A little more of that, a little more of that action, a little more action around the basket without a ball in my hands. I'm a better team sometimes.
ACU, after 7 straight losses, is going to win its 2nd straight. And again, they'll play Tarleton State Monday night, then have the Thursday game night in the WAC off before hosting Southern Utah. And that game against Southern Utah will be for the 5th place spot. Shot clock turned off. Dormu pocket picked. Rich Smith coming the other way. And the senior will run the clock out. And on Valentine's Day, a sweet one for Brett Tanner and ACU. They flip a 12-point deficit early in the second half into a 14-point victory, 73-59. ACU goes to 4-8 in the WAC. Tarleton State falls to 3-9. They get 19 points from Braden Hubbard, 17 from Zy Wright. And if you're a Tarleton State fan, you look at that bunch right there and you say, what more could they have given? Missing 4 heavy minutes guys, their top 2 scorers. They went up 12. Eventually, the Wildcats wore them down. We're here with Brett Tanner, joins us, ACU head coach, here at the media table. Coach, it's ACU and Tarleton State.
Man.
Back and forth we go. You always call it a toughness game. How tough was your team in the late going?
Second half, very tough.
Last 10 minutes.
First half, not very tough, you know, and that's something we got to talk about because crazy enough, we got to turn around and do this again on Monday. And boy, oh boy, you know, like they're doing such a good job, and Coach Sip is doing such a good job filling in for Billy. And those players, man, they're shorthanded, and they played their tails off. And I think our guys got a little too confident when the game started. I can tell them as much as I want, man, but you know, but they popped us, and they popped us good. And really, man, they popped us in the second half. It really was just about the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
We hit some shots. We got some big-time rebounds. You know, I got to go back and watch the film, which obviously I'll do right away because we have to turn around and do it again.
Yeah.
But I thought I'll say this, man. I thought Zy Wright was fantastic. You know, Rich didn't have it tonight. It is what it is. You know, and we had some injuries. You know, Rich.
Yeah.
By the way, Rich is playing not 100%. And so we needed some guys to step up, and I thought Zy Wright really did a great job.
He's a guy that you brought in fairly late to this program, but we saw it. He was a star on the D2 level, and we saw little glimpses of it tonight. Hey, Coach, let me ask you about this. each team was dinged for a technical foul in this game.
Yeah.
That's been a point of emphasis.
Every game.
And you haven't even argued the call because you were told before the season, right?
Yeah.
That was the start. As a former Division I head coach, Paul Weir, senior associate AD, comes over to congratulate Brett Tanner. That was the start. Cade makes the logo 3. They're up 10. And from that point on, Zy makes the free throws, and it's a 7-0 run, and you flip the game at that point.
Yeah, look, man, and I've told our guys, like, act like you've been here before. And of course, it's just celebration, but it's that silly stuff. But if they wouldn't have popped him, I would have been angry.
Yeah.
Because it was the same thing. But look, every single game, technical fouls, both teams.
Yes.
And we talked about that last time, but we've got to do a better job. It was one of the things we talked about today in shoot-around is, like, don't get caught up in the emotion of this game.
Yeah.
Way easier said than done. But man, I know this. I'm not looking forward to having to turn around and do it again in Stephenville in 48 hours. But we'll enjoy this one today and come back to work tomorrow.
Quick word, a guy like Mashai Hill who works hard in practice every day, he's had some good moments. Your team is tied. He steps up to a 1-1, and he makes both. In a stretch in which your team has missed some free throws this week, they've made them.
Look, man, I'm going to give the player of the game to Zy Wright. But if Zy wasn't so good, I don't care if that Shy's only 2 points, I would be giving it to him.
Yeah.
I told him right there in the huddle, I said, this is why you're here at 5 a.m. He comes in at 5 a.m. every day and shoots free throws. And look, he wasn't having a great game.
No.
But he stepped up, and if he doesn't make those 2 free throws, man, it's a different ball game. Yeah. And that's what, like, I'm so glad to see that hard work get rewarded. But like I said, the 5 a.m., man, you get rewarded for it.
All right, well, let's hear from Zy Wright. Thanks, Brett Tanner. Over to Madison with our star of the game.
Hey, Zy, 17 points for you tonight. What was working for you offensively?
We just stuck to the game plan. We had a solid game plan coming in, and we know based off last game, we just wanted to keep building off of that, and I think we did that for the most part.
Yeah. Y'all were trailing at halftime. What did y'all do differently in the second half?
We started worrying about everything that we couldn't control, and we stuck to what we can control, and we started playing ACU basketball, and we had a talk in the locker room, just stick to us, and I think we did that, and we executed in the second half.
This is y'all's second straight win after 7 straight losses. How do y'all keep this momentum going?
Take it one day at a time, one practice at a time, one game at a time. I mean, we got a mission ahead, and we know the end goal, and we just got to keep stacking days to get to that.
Thanks, Zy. Congrats.
No problem. Thank you.
Guys, Ashley, up to you.
Thanks, Madison. Zion, we talked about this gritty battle between these two teams at the half. ACU was trailing at the half and a little bit of a while in the second half. But after some key shots, they picked up from there with the momentum, and the Wildcats ultimately took the win. What do you think of that half?
Yeah, man, just like what Brett Tanner said, the second half was completely different for the Wildcats. We always know there's some juice coming up when we play Tarleton State, but today it was exactly what we wanted to see from the Wildcats. They came out big, and they played with some grit in that second half.
Let's take a look at our final stats of the game.
Yeah, like we said, man, Zy Wright was a big part of these points and that run that ACU went on. The free throws, like we said in the first half, man, they couldn't do the little things correctly. No free throws, nothing was going well for the Wildcats. They were able to get some 3-ball shots going, and then the free throws, once Tarleton got into foul trouble, man, ACU did a lot of electric things. But I'll tell you this, man, Tarleton State came in and they played a pretty good game. They don't shoot a lot of 3-pointers. They did a pretty good job today. And from the field goal, shooting 50%. Well, you're down 4 guys on your squad. No matter who they are, it's kind of hard to continue to bounce back.
Thanks, Zion. Now let's look at those WAC standings. You can see ACU and Tarleton on this list.
Yeah, man, they're at the bottom of this. Like we said, coming into this game, they both had that 1-game winning streak. But this is good for ACU because they're now 2-0 against Tarleton, and they're continuing to try to battle back. Like we said, we'll see what happens throughout the week. They'll be able to move up to the 5th place spot. But, man, the WAC is wide open. We saw California Baptist go on that 9-game winning streak. This is the time. ACU always seems to get hot at this time in the year, so we have no idea what's going to happen this year. But guess what? ACU is in a good position to continue going with everybody making it this year into the WAC tournament.
Yeah, on Monday, ACU will travel to Stephenville for another matchup against Tarleton. And this was a close game, but what do you think those Wildcats need to do in order to get a back-to-back win?
Man, they just have to trust in the process of what they're doing. Yeah, they've been struggling just a little bit, but that energy and that grit that they came out with in that second half, that's what they got to continue to hone in on. And like I said, Tarleton State, man, do not be stressed out. Some of your guys may come back in a little bit. You're down a lot of people right now. You got to be happy that you came into Moody Coliseum in front of this crowd and put up some big numbers against the Wildcats.
Thanks, Zion. Well, we've had fun today on this Valentine's Day, and we will now send it back downstairs to Grant. Hey, Grant.
Okay, Ashley, Zion, Madison, thanks. Ron, Big flip. Final 9 minutes, 33-9 for ACU. They outscored Tarleton State.
Yeah, and I give the game bottom of Shy Hill for making free throws.
You heard Coach Tanner say that. ACU wins its second straight. These two teams, if you enjoyed this, you'll have another chance to watch them in Stephenville on ESPN Plus Monday night at 7 o'clock. Thanks to our producer Hutton Harris and his entire team. For Ron Holmes and our entire crew, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching WAC Basketball on ESPN Plus.